You wake up with a runny nose, itchy eyes, and a scratchy throat. If you live in Tampa Bay, your first instinct is probably to blame the daily pollen count or typical Florida allergies. But there is a high probability you are actually sharing your home with a thriving fungal colony. Florida's Gulf Coast provides nearly perfect conditions for mold. When summer relative humidity routinely pushes past 90%, all it takes is your air conditioner cycling off at night to trigger growth, even if you've never had a flood. And these spores work incredibly fast. Following a minor plumbing drip or a small window leak, mold can begin germinating on wet drywall or wood in as little as 48 hours. There is a specific diagnostic pattern that gives away a hidden infestation. If you head out of town for the weekend and your respiratory symptoms clear up, only to return within hours of walking back through your front door, your home's air quality is likely compromised. Clearing up those sniffles means looking past standard allergy medications. You have to actively figure out which of Florida's big 5 mold species has secretly moved in. The first culprit you are likely to encounter is Cladosporium. It typically shows up as olive green, brown, or black clusters. Unlike molds that require intense heat, Cladosporium thrives in both warm and cool conditions. It loves to settle on air conditioning vents, windowsills, and bathroom grout, where it constantly sheds spores that trigger asthma flare-ups and chronic respiratory irritation. Then there is Penicillium. This is an incredibly fast-spreading invader, easily recognizable by its powdery texture and distinct blue-green color. Penicillium actively exploits water-damaged materials. A hidden minor drip behind a leaking toilet or under bathroom caulking gives it enough moisture to establish a colony in days. From there, it aggressively releases airborne spores that can contaminate air quality throughout the entire house. While these surface invaders are highly allergenic, the threat level increases when other mold species begin to exploit your home's actual architecture and weather events. That brings us to Alternaria, a mold you can identify by its dark green to brown color and a velvety or suede-like texture. Alternaria is famous for surging right after hurricanes. When heavy storm winds push water through window frames and under doors, this mold follows right behind the moisture. Today, it ranks as one of the leading mold allergens in the world. But the most insidious threat might be Aspergillus. It often appears yellow, green, or white, which means homeowners frequently dismiss it as simple dust. Instead of walls, Aspergillus prefers to colonize HVAC ductwork, turning your AC into a distribution network. Every time it cycles on, it forcefully blows mycotoxin-producing spores into every room, carrying a high risk of lung infections for people with weakened immune systems. And finally, there is Stachybotrys chartarum, the infamous black mold. It has a dark, greenish-black appearance and a distinct slimy texture. Unlike the others, it requires sustained, heavy moisture to survive. You will usually find it after long-term plumbing failures or extreme crawlspace flooding. Once established, it produces trichothene mycotoxins, which are linked to chronic fatigue and neurological symptoms in people with prolonged exposure. The real danger of these structural molds is their ability to hide out of sight while degrading your health and your home's framing. Finding them and accurately identifying them is a matter of severe health and safety, but identifying mold by sight is effectively impossible. To the naked eye, dozens of mild species share the same dark color and slimy texture as the most toxic black mold. If you try to prescribe a cleanup method based solely on a mold's color, you risk inadequate DIY failures. Scrubbing a wall with bleach might remove the surface stain, but it leaves the mycotoxins embedded in the drywall or wood. The only way to confirm the species is professional, lab-verified air and surface testing. A licensed inspector collects the samples, and clinical microbiology dictates the exact cleanup protocol required for that specific fungus. As this diagram shows, your primary defense in Tampa Bay is precise humidity control. To stop spores from germinating in the first place, you must maintain your indoor relative humidity consistently in this green zone, between 45 and 55%. Living comfortably in Florida's naturally humid climate isn't about avoiding water entirely. It's about vigilant, year-round humidity control, and when an infestation does happen, demanding scientific proof over visual guesswork.